my! The boxes are finished. You've finished your gift boxes. These are beautiful. And look at the inlay wood. And there's scroll saw lids with inlays. Oh my word. How can you possibly give these away? Lawrence, those wooden gift boxes are absolutely beautiful. But how did we get to that point? When we left you the last time, you had just done the third proof of your manuscript.
We'd gotten through the first and the second and the third proof on the text last time I talked to you. And other than some minor problems with one or two of the pages, it all went really fairly well once I got to actually printing on the good stock. But the next part of the process was to build the borders and the ornamentation for the text. As I'd said before, you know, old manuscripts were always illuminated, so we wanted to illuminate these pages with borders and ornaments, sticking with traditional letterpress styling.
How about with the color?
Due to space limitations, I've only been able to put together about half of the border project and print it. So I can't plan the whole thing out 100%. I can't do all the borders and then figure out, oh, green there, blue there, yellow there. So I'm working with half of the project and trying to coordinate color usage so that I don't end up with a whole batch of green and blue ones in the beginning and none further on in the project. So there's a lot of organization that went into doing the border.
Did you end up duplicating any borders?
There's a piece or two of a border that gets duplicated. But in general, all the borders are unique. Every single one is a unique presentation, and depending on the style of the border had an impact on what I chose for color as well, how they would go together. I didn't want the borders to overtake the project. They're meant to be a complement to the text.
What is your favorite?
This one is one of the ones I really like. I don't know why in particular I like it, but there's something about the color combination and the ornamentation that I really, really like.
Beautiful.
This one as well is another
colorful.
one. A little brighter, but because it's a cursive script in black, it really worked out well. This is the one where I had to use an upside down P to make a D because I ran out of letters. This is the one that I said was sort of modernistic.
Very.
And it's almost jarring, but it works. This is one of my favorites. There's something again about that combination.
How many times did a particular page go through the press?
It varies from border to border. Some of the pages was one black and one color on the border if it was a very complex border, simple. Other ones went through the press half a dozen times, easily. Black for the text, color for the initial letter and title, and 3 or 4 colors on the border on the more complicated ones. When I print silver ink, it has to go through the press twice. You can't print silver one time because it soaks in. You have to run it through twice. And then some of the pages have a back. The front matter has a back side as well.
And did you have leftover paper?
The reason we used up all the paper was because of page 13, which I had to redo. And I forget the number, but there was one other page that I just wasn't happy with the way the border looked. And that one, fortunately, had not had the text the type hadn't been put away yet. For some reason or other, we were waiting to put the rest of it away because we were busy with the borders. So there were 2 pages that had to be completely redone, and that pretty much used up most of the extra paper. How
many copies did you make of all the text?
The goal was 30. That would be using up all the paper with a little left over for waste. Due to some problems in the process, we ended up with 28 complete sets, which I think is sort of interesting because there's 28 precepts, 28 sets of precepts. So I thought, well, that's sort of fun, 28 precepts and 28 sets.
And the wood boxes, you've got 8?
The original plan was to use cases, like case-bound cases. I decided to talk to somebody in the wood shop about making a couple of boxes. And the project evolved from being a couple of boxes to being 9 boxes because, as I was told, well, it's not that much more work to make extra. I mean, once you're set up and going, make a few extra. Sure. Well, I'm not sure that was exactly true. It was a lot of work. Those things were a lot of work.
Speaking of hours, how much time has gone into this project, would you say?
Wow. It's exhausting to think about. You add all that together, I'd say there's probably about 450 plus hours in the printing side of the project. I'd say there's over 200 hours in those 9 boxes worth of time in the shop. The wood cost for that project ends up being the same as the cases cost about $70 a piece. So there's 20 of those that I've bought. Paper was $600. The The wood shop wood was about $700 worth of wood. But I think we probably talked about this an awful lot.
This is Donna Faust for SCA TV, Anthem Alive.